requesting an excuse. Chair Mareki,
Here.
you have a quorum present.
Okay, next item.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none, except we have quite a lengthy agenda, which is great. Get road work done. Go ahead.
C, approve the March 12, 2024 meeting minutes.
Support.
All right, we have an approval by Commissioner Hadas, supported by Commissioner Kinlock. Any changes, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next item.
D, unfinished business. There is none listed.
Next item.
Item 1, under new business, forwarding a list of repair and construction projects planned and underway for the Department of Public Services.
Okay. Yep, let's take them all at the end and do a motion at the end. Any questions on this? I'm sure you've all looked at what projects are being done and which ones from last year, this year. No questions? Next item.
Item 2, requesting commission approval of a 3-year intergovernmental agreement with 2 5-year options to renew with the City of Westland for construction and maintenance of a sidewalk to connect Merriman Road to Hines Park.
Okay. Good news for Westland here is, oh, there you are. Good morning.
Morning.
Alicia. And Commission. This is an agreement as stated between the City of Westland. Westland applied for a TAP grant, and we are working with their consultant to bridge a connector along Merriman Road, which is actually in the City of Westland, but will come down Merriman Road Drive to Hines Drive. So part of our Connecting Rouge plan, this is one key element that helps us. There's no funding from our coffers in order to do this. Westland is incurring the cost through their TAP grant, and they will have level of responsibility and maintenance for that through the approval of the agreement once the commission does that.
Okay, great. Does it take long to hear when you apply for a TAP grant? Do you
Madam
know?
Chair, it varies.
Okay.
It can vary, but I believe that City of Westland does have basically a preliminary approval that once they complete their application, that it will be approved and funds have been set aside for it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any
You're
questions on
welcome.
this? All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to a 3-year contract with a 1-year option to renew with Baker and Associates to continue to provide construction engineering services for the Beach Daily Road Bridge Superstructure Replacement Project.
Okay, this is for the City of Dearborn Heights, over $97,000 for this. Questions on this? Okay, this is all good news today. Next item.
Item 4, requesting commission approval of a 3-year professional services contract with a 1-year option to renew with Baker and Associates for construction engineering services on Rupp Road from Oakwood Boulevard to Schaefer Highway in the City of Melvindale.
Okay, this is over 170,000. Act 51 money. All of these projects are the engineering services. Questions? Next item.
Item 5, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to a 3-year contract with a 1-year option to renew with Baker and Associates for full construction engineering services, material testing, and inspection services.
Okay, this is for Brownstown Township. Little over 37,000. This is for additional funding on this construction services. Questions? Okay. Next item.
Item 6, requesting commission approval of a 3-year professional services contract with a 1-year option to renew with Alfred Benesch and Company for construction engineering services for construction on Allen Road from Eureka Road to I-75 and from I-75 to North Line Road in the cities of Southgate and Taylor.
Okay, is there someone here on this item? Good morning.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Alan Ko. I'm the Assistant Division Director of Engineering. Good morning.
Good morning. The question I have is Benish usually does bridge engineering services, right? They've done bridge
Yes,
for years. It looks like they're now getting into the road.
that's correct. They're
Okay,
gonna be the CE for this project.
yes. So the question I have, I was looking through the evaluation with the other companies that put in a bid for this. And one of the things in this item, in the next item, that Benish gets gets 40 out of 40 points for the qualifications of team. And this is going against many of the engineering services that we use for other projects. What does that mean? Why are they getting the highest number for that when they're going against other groups that we use all the time?
Basically, when we analyze the companies, we check also the previous experience that they or project that they have done. How well did they meet the deadline? Did they respond to the projects if there are some issues? So
Okay.
they did receive one of the highest score in that aspect.
Yeah, they got the highest in both
Yes.
projects, but they have not really done road projects before. So what are they comparing? I'm just curious, because you're looking at OH, you're looking at a bunch of groups that do our road projects all the time. So I'm just wondering why what are they being compared to if all they've done is bridge projects before?
I do believe in some of their other projects, and that for Wayne County, they did also roads, managed roads doing CE.
They have done
Yes,
roads?
that's what my understanding.
Okay, I look back on their past bids. I saw one road project. But okay, yeah. I'm still gonna just ask this. I mean,
We can provide you with the
okay, that'd be great,
details.
because this is going against big companies that we use all the time, and they're coming out outstanding in that area, and I'm just wondering,
Yeah, we can
Why?
provide you with the details.
okay? The other question I have is we have these contracts for the engineering services that we pick or whatever, which is a great idea. But does that get looked at periodically, looking for other companies to come into those engineering services? Do we look at it every few years? Am I
Yeah,
making myself
yes,
clear?
yes, we
Yeah.
do. We try to encourage some of the contractors or companies to apply to make sure they're qualified, and so we try to encourage them
Okay, but we only limit it to what, 5 or 7 companies
so far.
so far? So how often do we look at other companies maybe coming into that fold?
Sometimes we do it like every 6 months or sometimes
Oh,
a year.
Okay,
You know, it's that we don't have a specific time frame.
okay. Do you keep it at that number? I mean, do you have to kick someone out to put somebody else in?
Well, it depends on their performance, right? So if
Okay.
they did a bad job on the previous year, then obviously they're gonna get score lower.
Okay,
So that's how we rate companies.
okay,
And
so,
also it depends on how many projects they have this year. So we try to distribute them among others company. So
okay. All right, so is this a current oh, you don't have our paperwork. Can you provide us with the current list of engineering services that we?
we'll do.
Okay, thank you. And I'm really curious about the qualifications of team.
Okay.
All right.
We'll do.
Thank you. Any question? Yes.
Yes, just to follow up with some of the points that Commissioner Chair Marecki had mentioned. How hard is it for a new opportunity? It seems like there's enough road work needed around the county that we could create a lot of different opportunities for companies to, participate in our road road plan. So how hard is it, and how often? I think you touched on it, but how often do we, add new organizations or new companies to our list of vendors?
There are so many factors that we considered. One of them, are they MDOT certified?
Mhm.
So that's one of the criterias. So
Does
again,
anybody ever want to get into Wayne County and they're not MDOT certified?
I don't really know exactly if there are some companies that are not certified. Most of the companies that we hired are MDOT certified contractors. So
Okay, so I'm imagining that there's a lot of companies out there that's MDOT certified. I would like to think that Wayne County is of the similar mindset of growing business opportunities. And so I'm just wondering how often and do we have a cap on the number of vendors associated with our construction jobs and the various aspects associated with it?
yeah, most of the time when we issue the project, we send it out to the public. So
Okay.
anybody can.
So anybody can respond to it.
yes,
So it's
yes.
not like you just have a list that you're
No,
dedicated.
it's publicly advertised. So
Okay.
It's publicly advertised, but we still have a list of engineering firms that we can go to. And again, I totally agree with that. I mean, we did that at the city of Livonia. It makes things easier when the process goes. So the public can,
bid on the projects.
And I think you made reference that part of that whole scoring component that I guess having done work with the county give you additional points.
That's correct.
Okay.
so
Yeah, so that'll make it kind of tough for new
after I
vendors. Huh?
after I interrupted you 2 times, sorry.
All right, no problem. No, I'm done. Thank you.
I have one more question though. Do you get extra points if you're a Wayne County business engineering firm?
I'm not really quite sure about that, but
Okay.
I can double check.
Okay, so that those 2 things, and then the list of the current engineering, which I think I know, but I think the commissioners should know who they are as well.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Okay, next item, number 7, right?
Yes, item 7, requesting commission approval of a 3-year professional services contract with a 1-year option to renew with Alfred Benesch and Company for construction engineering services on Merriman Road from Van Born Road to Michigan Avenue.
Okay, this is in Wayne and Westland, the same company. And again, the qualifications of team was at 40, so I'm interested in that. Any questions on this one? All right, next item.
Item 8, requesting commission approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Wyandotte for improvements to West Jefferson Avenue from Pennsylvania Road to Grove Road.
Okay. This is in Wyandotte. Act 51 money. Questions on this? All right, next item.
Item 9, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to a 2-year construction contract with EC Core and Co. for replacement of the Jefferson Avenue Bridge over Huron River in Brownstown and Berlin Townships.
Okay, this is no money, change in the money, but extending the contract for a year. Questions? Next item.
Item 10, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to a 2-year construction contract with EC Core and Co. for the Allen Road over Blakely Drain Bridge Reconstruction Project in Brownstown Charter Township.
Right. Questions on this? Okay, next item.
Item 11, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to a 2-year construction contract with Mark Anthony Contracting for concrete pavement removal and replacement on Miller Road.
Okay, someone here on this one?
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Alan Coe, Assistant Division, Engineering Division.
Okay, can you just
Explain number.
explain this to us? Yeah, there was some questions from our council about this contract. So why don't you just tell us about this?
This project has been completed last year.
And actually, I'm wrong, but
Go
tell
on.
us about this. I'm looking at another contract that I'll bring you up again for, but tell us about this one.
Okay, I'm talking about the Mark Anthony contract.
Yes, I am trying, yes.
Number 11.
Yeah,
I do believe this has been completed in 2022 and
Okay.
the restoration was done in
Miller
1
Road.
and 3, yes. So
I
before
think
we.
every commissioner knows Miller Road, so go ahead.
So in order to close the project, we need to make sure it balanced, and if there's some funds needed, like in this case, that's the reason why we're asking for amendment number 1,
Okay.
because we need to close the book, and we close the project, and we're still owe them a certain amount.
Okay, any questions on this? Commissioner Baydoun will be happy to see this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 12, requesting commission approval of a 3-year professional services contract with a 1-year option to renew with LGC Global to provide as-needed catch basin drain structure repairs on primary roads at various locations throughout the county.
Okay, is someone here on this? Just a brief. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Steve Shea, Division Director of Wayne County Roads.
So just this is only for primary roads?
Yes,
Okay,
so this contract is it ended up going to 2 vendors, the
Yes.
2 lowest bidders.
yep, we have
And
the next one for the
basically,
next item.
we're trying to target some of the flood zone areas that are problematic, like the Fernie, Wyoming area, Otter Drive. A lot of catch basins are in disrepair. So this contract, what it covers is the rebuilding of the catch basins, all the way from the well to the inserts and to the rim and cover.
Okay. So this is for this company and for
LGC and Century. Cement.
Century. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all right, good news.
Thank you.
How many do you think that you'll be able to do?
Well, it all depends, if they put more than 2, 3 crews on there, we should pretty much get a pretty good handle on it.
Okay.
But we really want to target that. We want to ensure that these basins are fixed and do what they're supposed to do,
Okay.
is that water drains to them.
Thank you. Any questions for Steve? All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
And if you could read number 13.
Item 13, requesting commission approval of a 3-year professional services contract with a 1-year option to renew with Century Cement Company to provide as-needed catch basin drain structure repairs on primary roads at various locations throughout the county.
Okay, and as Steve mentioned, there's 2 companies, the previous one and this one, both doing this kind of work, both of them the low bidders. Any questions? Next item.
Item 14, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to a 3-year sole source professional services contract with McQueen Equipment LLC, DBA Bell Equipment Company to continue providing parts and repair services for its Elgin sweepers.
Okay, this is the one that I had some questions on about the contract. Good morning.
Director of Equipment.
There you go. Okay, could you just tell us about this?
Yes, McQueen, also known as Bell Equipment, they are our exclusive vendor as it pertains to parts repairs for our 15 Elgin sweepers we have in-house to help sweep the roads.
Okay, so there's 15 now.
Yes, 15 in total.
So our corporation counsel had noticed that this contract actually tripled from the contract before in cost. And there was some communication back and forth, but could you tell us why that happened?
Well, we do know just supply and demand, parts are harder to get, repairs are taking longer, repair times to get them done. So I wouldn't say the budget that is currently scheduled here or set before you here would be capped, but it does give us that buffer to make sure at all times that we're able to repair the equipment that we have in-house.
So in the past, though, did we have people that could repair it and now?
Well, in our shop, as you guys know, we are in need of heavy equipment mechanics. So a lot of our Elgin sweepers are outsourced to the vendors. So vendors have higher price as far as labor, hours, and parts and equipment
Okay.
and services.
So that's why the costs
Mhm.
went up. All right. So they're pretty much doing all the work then because we don't have that.
For the most part, doing our preventative maintenance and any other repairs, things that we could do in-house, we definitely try. But right now we have one heavy equipment mechanic service in these sweepers. So in order to make sure we're in a position to support roads maintenance, we send them out.
Okay. Any questions, commissioners?
And if we need.
Well, currently I'm budgeted for 31 mechanics. I have 9 in-house. That does include a tire repair person as well as my tool maker. But being optimistic with the collaborative bargaining taking place, I do have potential mechanics that were previous employees looking to come back because of the price increase. So
Fingers crossed.
fingers crossed.
Huge, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, in this size of county. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item.
Item 15, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to an intergovernmental agreement with the Township of Huron, amending the scope of work for improvements to Lashko Park.
Okay, and there's no change in the dollar amount. It's just to amend the scope of work. Questions? Next item.
Item 16, requesting commission approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Allen Park for improvements to Champion Park.
Questions on this? Next item.
Item 17, requesting commission approval of Amendment 4 to a sublease agreement with the City of Dearborn Heights for the continuation of tenancy for the use of 750 square feet for the prosecutor's office, Out County office in Dearborn Heights.
Okay, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. This is, come on up, Tony. This is catching everything up, right?
Thank you. Through the chair, Tony Guerrero, Chief of Legislation, Grants and Community Relations for the Prosecutor's Office. This is not only catching everything up, this is taking us forward to the end of the year 2026. This Out County office is the one we service 16 different district courts out in the western suburbs and downriver. The significance of this particular Fourth Amendment is number one, in the Third Amendment, we capped off the time period that was the month to month. This particular provision was asked for by the City of Dearborn Heights. They wanted to raise the rate. We had paid $950 a month for probably 15 years. This raises the rate to $1,050. There's a fail-safe inside the agreement, whereby if we were to vacate the property before the end of the term, this also, the same provision was included in the previous amendments, but the city has agreed that if we vacate, they will pay back the county the unused portion of the rent. And I'm really happy to see this before this committee and hopefully before the commission.
Yep, just finalize all this, and thanks to Felicia for finding all this out in the past.
Oh, my God.
Good work. Oh, well, you were the one that was named, so thanks to everybody. Because you're the. Okay, any questions on this? Go ahead.
Okay, so I remember when we had last discussed this, we talked about signage and some other things that I guess they would go back and just want to get some feedback on that.
I have asked, and I'm expecting to get a response from the mayor. They've got to run it by the council, obviously. But as soon as I hear, I will report back to the committee.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
We're going to jump to the addenda right now and then come back to the agenda. If that's all right with everybody. Madam Clerk.
Moving to the addenda, item 21, forwarding the current vehicle assignment report, including the vehicle type, age of vehicle, location, status, and brass tag number for all Wayne County vehicles.
Okay. Any questions on this? All right, next item.
Item 22, forwarding the February 2024 report of all complaint calls made to 1-888 road crew.
Yep, for February 2024, questions? Next item.
Item 23, requesting commission approval of a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation for road improvements along Dix Toledo Road.
Hey, this is almost $3.5 million project at Lincoln Park. Act 51 money. Questions on this? Okay. Thank you. I vote on this. Why don't we vote on the agenda now, and then we'll go back to the original agenda?
So we're voting on the addenda now?
The whole thing, the agenda and the addenda, and then we'll go back to the discussion points.
Okay.
So let's vote on that now.
That's it for discussion.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Do you have issues with it?
I pressed it.
There's a motion, yeah,
I
by
make-
Commissioner Kinlock,
You second. Right.
supported by Commissioner Hados, and
This is for items 1 through 17 and 21 through 23, with numbers 1, 21, and 22 being received in files.
yes, thank you. Okay, here we go.
Motion carried.
Agenda passes. Okay, let's go back to the agenda.
Moving back to the agenda, item 18, discussion regarding the Department of Public Services Engineering Division Capital Improvement Plan.
Okay, is someone like here on this? So we don't. Okay, and this is just for discussion purposes. We don't have any of the information. It's going to be going to Ways and Means. But maybe you can just talk to us about this. Yeah, could you, yeah. We don't have the information in front of us, so maybe you can just give us a.
Summary. So basically, we have submitted a new revised CIP and the total amount is originally did not change, is 61 million. The only thing that changes are we just remove some of the projects that have been completed and we adjust some of the remaining projects. We adjust or decrease accordingly based on the actual bid cost.
Okay,
So that's why we're submitting a revised version of the CIP.
okay, so we will get this actual information in Ways and Means then? Okay, all right, so this is just a heads up. Do you have any questions? I know this is very preliminary, but it was put on our agenda just to start the.
Yeah, it's just explaining why we and also we're gonna have a attachment on what you're gonna be receiving, the items that's been revised and completed projects that have been removed from the list.
Okay, but the total's gonna be 61
Yes.
million.
Yes, the total didn't change.
Okay, and the items are removed because they've been completed?
Yes.
Okay,
And
not because you thought.
they've
eh,
been completed.
Okay. Great. So much to question right now. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 19, discussion regarding the Department of Public Services Parks Division carryover projects.
Good morning again.
Good morning again, Alicia Bradford, Parks Division Director, Department of Public Services. So I know it is on Ways and Means, but I will have discussion about it. This is all of the carry forward for 23-24 for specific projects for communities that the commissioners allocate their park millage, as well as Wayne County's park projects that we're working on for a total of 12.8 million plus. There was initial amount of about 14.9 million, but we do have some use of fund balance and some work orders that are already under progress that's been approved previously. So the final balance is a little over $12.8 million that will be approved for all of those projects from the communities as well as Wayne County Parks projects that we're working on as well.
So it's all
All
together.
encompassing
Got
that,
it.
yes.
Are there any projects of communities, park projects that are you're waiting? I mean, that usually it's 2 years, right? Is everything up to date or are there still communities that are lagging behind some of those projects.
Madam Chair, there's no one lagging behind those projects. We have had conversations with communities. Everyone has their intergovernmental agreements approved from previous years. We're just finalizing this year's allocation of 23-24 of getting those projects from the communities. Where everyone is on task, we do appropriate follow-up to find out their status of their projects and to remind them that their agreements will be expiring typically in September 30th of the end of the fiscal year, that they will be expiring based on the allocation year.
Okay, well, that's good news that everybody's on track.
Everybody's on track.
Any questions? And we're getting this in Ways and Means also, right? Okay. I don't know. It was put on the agenda, I think just for initial discussion. Yeah, because usually park stuff is on our committee.
It was just for general information,
Yeah.
brief overview. Yep. So no action.
We'll see it on Ways and Means, but yeah, no action on these. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if she's on the next one. Next item.
Item 20, an update on the status of the Newburgh Mill.
Are you for this? Are you on this one? Okay, yeah, I was gonna stop you, but. Yeah, an update on the Newburgh Mill, and I don't know if that was just you, or can you give us any kind of update on the Newburgh Mill?
I apologize, Madam Chair. I didn't see that on the agenda.
You didn't, okay.
No, I did not. So in response to the Newburgh Mill, we executed agreements a number of years ago, probably 3 years ago, with the developer Greg D'Onofrio
Mhm.
for Wilcox and Newburgh Mill. The developer is now working on Wilcox Mill. We are still working on Newburgh Mill with their due diligence, as well as finding alternate location for our Parks and Sheriff's operation. As well, we have identified a location, but we are working through specific details for in order to build that new infrastructure. So right now, the developer is dealing with Wilcox Mill. We are having conversation and working through our economic development department with Director Shake on that as well. So that is the last update that I have, that they're doing Wilcox and then they will be moving to Newburgh Mill.
Okay, yeah, and sorry you didn't see this. Is there anything like on the Corp Council side that is anything being held up at Wayne County at all with this? Do you know? From
No,
Corp Council or?
no, not regarding Newburgh Mill. No, there's
Okay.
nothing that's being held up to my knowledge. There's been discussion, what I understand, with economic development regarding the status and what the next steps are from the developer for that location. Again, I know he is going through his due diligence, due diligence is probably at expiration now. But I think the discussion is about the new location, what is agreed upon at the new
You're
location.
talking about the stables.
The stables and parks office as well. There's park staff and sheriff's operations at Newburgh Mill.
Right.
Correct.
So, but they don't get the, whatever, the papers until the stable is built, correct?
I'm not certain of that step. I would have to talk, confer back with Corporation Counsel. I believe it's been a while since I've looked at that agreement. But I believe that is the case on their due diligence and having that built. But the amount of funding allocated for that, based on costs that are before us now and estimation of doing projects, it's a discussion that needs to be addressed on who will be responsible for additional funding for that facility.
Okay, and sorry you didn't see that.
No problem. My apologies. I did.
No, that's all right. And maybe I'll put this on at another time. I don't want to put you on the spot when you're just coming up here. So I appreciate that, but maybe I'm going to put this on again just to see, because this is years in the making. I mean, this is like, feels like about 25 years ago. I know it's not that long, but it feels like it.
Right. And
But
we're trying to
anyway-
get some additional information
Yeah.
from economic development, who's been leading the initiative as well.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And I'll touch base with them as well.
All right.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Mhm.
Okay, next item.
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I've heard of none. Next item.
G, public comments.
Okay. Anybody from the chambers here that would like to address the Committee on Public Services? Do we have any emails, Madam Clerk?
No emails were received.
Okay, anybody on Zoom that you can see with their hand up? Anybody on Zoom or the phone that would like to address the committee, please do. You have 2 minutes each. You see anybody?
No one on Zoom.
All right. Okay. All right. All right. We have a motion to